This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Megan Shepard. It's great to have you with us. The family of Grand Bahama's latest homicide victim is speaking out about the loss of their loved one and the level of violence taking place in the country. Shashina Roll has the story.
Heartbroken yet grounded in their faith in God, Greg and Christine Bullard say the family is trying their best to cope with the tragic death of their son. 23-year-old Joshua Bullard was gunned down on Fawcett Lane on Saturday. Greg says he warned his son about being in that area, and seeing his son's lifeless body lying on the ground brought home the harsh reality that he would never see his son alive again.
The unfortunate thing is, this was just after dark, and many persons on Fawcett Lane and Oates Lane saw who did it. There were rumors on the streets as to who the killer is and who accompanied him, details of which I cannot get into because the police, they are still investigating the case.
He says Joshua was a friendly, outgoing sports enthusiast who was also fearless, but he admits that Joshua had his share of challenges within the past 5 years.
Joshua made that profession of faith, read the scripture, attended youth meeting, attended church. Actually, when there were times to pray, Joshua would lead in the prayer sessions. But again, in the last 5 years, there was somewhat of a departure from the roots.
The grieving father shares what perhaps is the most difficult part to deal with.
Gunmen, with no regard for the sanctity of human life, can walk upon a young man and not shoot him once or twice, but multiple bullets in the chest area. He came with bad intention. His purpose for coming was obviously completed. And without getting into the details of the case, it was not just one person who showed up.
As the family struggles to get through this trying time, he says they are surrounded by those in the Christian community, friends, and loved ones. Bullard says those responsible for his son's death must be brought to justice and believes that because of where and the time this crime took place, someone knows something.
We do not have to be afraid of the gunmen, and if we constantly be afraid of them, they will pick us off as a society one by one. It could very well be your brother, your child, your nephew, who could be the next one if you do not report that person who you know is the killer or those who also accompanied the killer. Outside of all of that, if he misses the judicial system of the Bahamas, he will never miss the judicial system of Almighty God.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now, the Bullard family has been receiving widespread support from the Christian community. Pastor Eddie Victor says the news of the senseless murder has touched him. He said it is time that residents stand up against the evil that is taking place in the country.
In Grand Bahama, we're in a war. It's not just a spiritual war, but it's manifesting into the social, economic fiber of the community. And it brings us to the reality that not only do we need to pray more intensely and in a united way, but we also need to be ready now to stand up for the injustice that is taking place across this island.
Victor and several other pastors visited the Bullard family today. He believes this recent murder proves that there is no regard for human life.
I'm hearing Joshua was assassinated. This is a reality, and it's not being talked about much. We have individuals on this island that will assassinate someone else for not much money. You know, we may watch television and hear about all this money that someone would pay, but we have people that will kill someone else for not very much. And this is another issue that has to be addressed, and we need to stand up and deal with it as a people, because it could be anybody.
Now, if you have any information that can assist police in furthering their investigations into the murder of Joshua Bullard, you are urged to contact your nearest police station. Authorities say you can do so anonymously. Police on Grand Bahama uncovered 2 illegal firearms and ammunition. According to reports, around 3:40 on Tuesday, officers acting on information executed a search warrant at a residence in the Freeport area, which resulted in the discovery and seizure of an unlicensed 12-gauge shotgun and a 9mm pistol, along with 6 rounds of 9mm ammunition. A 22-year-old female and 2 males, aged 32 and 37, all residents of Grand Bahama, were arrested. Investigations are ongoing. This was observed as the first National Heroes Day, and as the government moves to recognize persons fitting of the honor of national heroes, residents share their views on who should be considered and the criteria for such an honor.
I believe people that uplift our society, people that work towards the betterment of the Bahamian as a whole. Definitely the first Prime Minister, Sir Oscar Pinelli, would be great. I also believe our former Prime Minister, as years go on, should be acknowledged too, Mr. Hubert Alexander Ingram.
The politicians are not always the best people in the world. They're some of them are for their own agenda, and we can't really trust them all the time now. And I think we need to see people who are really genuine people, who have a genuine interest in Bahamas and learn their people, and go from there.
Maybe persons like, say, Princey Butler. For me, she's a Sunday school teacher who has worked in St. Matthews for many years, forming not just me, but many persons in that church. And she's been in that ministry in St. Matthews for years. And she is a national hero in my eyes. So when I think of this day, I think of persons like her, not just those who are in the limelight, who the rest of the Bahamas know.
The National Heroes Day holiday will replace the Discovery Day holiday and comes after a bill was signed at the Government House on Friday, making the second Monday in October of each year a National Heroes Day holiday. For the past 20 years, members of the National Heroes Committee have been lobbying for the name change and official recognition. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight continues after this.